Hello and welcome back to another weekly update of gamers, streamers, and more. I'm your host, Gracie Star, and this week we'll be taking a look into the world of Renegades. More specifically, who they are, where they came from, and what they do now. The Renegades are a multidisciplinary gaming crew who have teams across various platforms in the gaming community. You can find Renegades teams under Counter-Strike, Fortnite, Rocket League, Super Smash Bros, and so much more. Renegades actually just had a team compete in the Valorant preliminary tournament. They qualified for its first strike alongside teams Envy, 100 Thieves, and Sentinels, beating out top contenders like Cloud9, Gen.G, and TSM. While Renegades may still be considered an amateur team in comparison to these already well-established franchises, up-and-coming esports team is seriously starting to make a name for themselves in the world of esports. They're constantly recruiting new players and finding success again and again with these risks that they're taking. Valorant being a prime example of what I'm talking about. The game came out just last June, and since then, Renegades has actually acquired Big Frames, picking up a ready-to-go Valorant team consisting of CP2, Winsome, Ready Savage, and Bergie, not to mention their later addition in early September of Rectric, who previously played for SW Savages. This new Valorant team couldn't have fallen any more perfectly into the hands of Renegades. But I guess you could argue that Renegades are no stranger when it comes to change regarding players and ownership. The Renegades, as their name might suggest, have faced their fair share of obstacles that have led them to the place they're at now. Renegades is a professional gaming organization that was founded back in March of 2015, originally under the name of Misfits. This is completely unrelated to the Misfits team that we now see today. But before Renegades became Renegades, they were actually an incredibly competitive NA League of Legends team. The team even had Alex Ich, the famously known top and mid laner who previously played for Moscow 5 back in the day. Sadly, Alex and his Misfit team never got to see the world stage, a fate this player knows all too well. During the time frame of 2015 to 2016, there is constant change in the Renegades roster. An additional owner, Monte Cristo, joined up with Chris Badwi, who was the previous owner of Misfits, and rebranded it as Renegades. On June 24th, 2015, Riot made a competitive ruling that banned Chris Badwi from allowing the team to compete. Apparently Badwi had reached out to players on Team Liquid who had already had contracts set in stone and attempted to solicit them for his own team's gain. After the team's second termination from the LCS, it seemed like Renegades had all but left the Riot gaming world completely. That is, until 4 years later. Nearly 6 months after the release of Valorant, and we're finally getting to see a tournament where both amateur teams and pro teams get to compete together. As to be expected, TSM, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and Gen.G are just a few of the top teams that are competing this year in Valorant's first strike tournament. Among some of the newcomers, we see Renegades, Built by Gamers, and yes, even the slimy Boogerman. The current owner of Renegades, NBA player Jonas Jerebko, has provided the organization with the fresh start they so desperately needed coming into this league. When Valorant was first teased back in March 2020, Renegades didn't even have a team comp in mind. Most of their players were either focused on Counter-Strike or building up their rep in COD over on the Oceanic team in Australia. Even their Fortnite team was making a huge name for itself for Renegades, so it's no surprise that they didn't try making a Valorant team until about a month after the game even came out. In fact, Renegades didn't even build their own Valorant team from the ground up. But instead, they absorbed Big Frames, a small gaming organization that nearly had a completed Valorant team. Their coach, Coach Jay, has over 20 years of tactical FPS experience and has coached more than 10 players who have competed competitively in CSGO and now Valorant. Coach Jay is all about the fundamentals and mechanics of gameplay. A personal quote of his from Twitter shows you what this coach is all about. Teams showing up to practice with absolutely no purpose. You wonder why you're nervous as hell when it actually matters. Your practice regime is awful and you're not focused on fundamentals and discipline. Stop playing to post clips and start playing to hoist cups. I still find myself amazed at how fast the Valorant League got pulled together and how quickly these organizations are putting teams together that work so well. Of course, Renegades did have the benefit of pulling an almost complete team out of one organization, but that doesn't discredit the team or coaching staff at all that Renegades has now put together. If you made it this far into the video, I strongly recommend you check out their website if you're interested in keeping up with the Renegades journey. They have all their teams and rosters listed with either a Twitch or Twitter account linked below, so there's plenty of resources for you to check out if you're interested in getting to learn more about any specific player. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this segment of Renegades. As always, I'm Gracie Star, signing off.